Hi kiddos, here's the spiral review for spiral 12. This is a good thing to look at if you want to make sure that you're okay as far as these materials. First off, we're looking at zeros of the following polynomial. This is also known as finding the roots of a polynomial. We're finding the x-intercepts of that polynomial. And to do so, we're going to take each factored piece and set it equal to 0. So 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. If I add 3 to the side, divide by 2, I get x is equal to positive 3/2. For the second part, if I've got 4x minus 2 is equal to 0, then if I add 2 and divide by 4, I get x is equal to 1/2. And then finally, if I've got 3x minus 1 is equal to 0, if I add 1 to both sides and then divide by 3, I get x is equal to 1/3. Next up, we have to factor this expression completely. And in order to do so, I'm going to multiply my first and my last term. So 7 times 24 is going to be 140, 168. So we got negative 168n squared. And I'm trying to add up to negative 38n. Nice. All right, so negative 168, that's going to be like negative 168n and positive 1n. Then we're going to have 2n, which is going to be negative 84n. It doesn't work. 3 is going to work for this. So we've got 3n, and 168 divided by that is going to be 56. So negative 56, still not there yet. 4, and that's going to be 42. And, oh, look, that's the one we're looking for, because negative 42 plus 4 gives me negative 38. So if I factor this, so we got 7n squared minus 42n plus 4n, and then minus 24. Factoring 7n squared and minus 42n, I can take a 7 and an n out, and that leaves me with an n and a minus 6. If I take a 4 out, that leaves me with an n and a minus 6. And I notice that, very excitingly, I have two things that are the same. That's going to come out front, so n minus 6 and 7n and plus 4. That's beautiful. In this case, I'm just asked to factor, so I don't need to go any further. For the third one of these, we're doing the same thing, but this time we have to factor and then find the zeros. So if I do my multiplication of my first and last terms, I get 210, 234. So negative 234 x squared. And I've got to then, actually I think it's 224. 224, that's going to be important. And I'm going to try to add up to 20x. All right. So positive 224x and 1x, no. 2 works, so let's go with, that's going to be 112. Okay, nope, still too big. 3 from 224 doesn't work. 4, and if we get 4, that's going to be 56. Okay, 5 doesn't work, 6 doesn't work, 7 and 32, and that gets me to 25, so we're getting closer. 8, so negative 8x, and that's going to be with 28, and that's our winner. So you've got 7x squared plus 28x minus 8x minus 32. Factor the first part, we get 7x and x plus 4. Factor the second part, we've got minus 8 and x plus 4. That gives me 7x minus 8 and x plus 4. All right, let's factor this thing. I'm going to try to find as much as I can about this in order to graph this. We've got x is equal to 8/7 as a point, so let's put that on here. 8 over 7. We've got x equals -4 as a point. So somewhere over there, -4. If I wanted to find a y-intercept, let's plug in 0 for x. So we get 0 minus 8 times 0 plus 4, which is -32. Hey, that's also the same thing we had up here. That's interesting. So -32. And then the last piece of this might be nice to find is the vertex. And the vertex is going to be the middle of our parabola. It's going to have an x value that's equal to exactly the average of these two things. So if we've got two numbers divided by 2, that's going to be 8/7, and -4, which let's make that 4/1, which is going to be 28/7. And that's going to be -20/7. When we divide that by 2, we get -10/7. So somewhere in the middle here, we're going to have -10/7. And if I were to plug that into my equation, that would end up telling me what my y value would be. I'm not going to do that at this moment. But what I will do is make my sort of nice parabola, and you should look something like this.